I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Kem, and I'm super excited about today's guest. He hails from the island of St. Thomas in the United States Virgin Islands. He worked his way from 32 square miles to being on top of the reggae charts. If you don't know who I'm talking about as yet, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Pressure BussPipe. I hope y'all enjoy this conversation as much as I did. Peace. All right, cool. Sounding clear on my end. Welcome, man. I would like to tell everybody that today we have the legendary Mr. Pressure BussPipe with us, hailing all the way from the Virgin Islands. As we know, he has been on top of the reggae charts. He has been an entrepreneur. He's a father, role model, an ambassador for the United States Virgin Islands. And we are glad that he has taken the time out today to be able to even stop by with us. How you doing, bro? How the family doing? How you been staying safe in these Corona times, man?
Yeah, everything been going good, just been making music,
Okay.
you know what I mean, and just using the time wisely to, educate myself and a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been doing that being on the road so much or whatever, you know what I mean? So
Right. So basically staying still and being able to sit down actually help put some different stuff in perspective and help you take us some different angles in attacking the music.
yes, fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even with a segue, I saw that you were performing live on I think it was the virtual village the other night, and I was just thinking in my head, man, who would have thought, that we would be performing virtually right now instead of being on a literal stage? How did that feel to you?
It's different,
Yeah.
but I just put myself on a vibes like, you're performing on a TV station.
Right.
You know,
Controlled environment, not no audience inside there per se to get the energy.
Exactly. Yep.
Got you. So you're from St. Thomas, bro. Let's go to the genesis of it all, because here at the Flying Intellectual Podcast, I really like to tell people stories from the start and show how they really got to where they are today. So we all are a product of our environment. We all are who we are from what we've been through and where we're from. So talk a little bit about growing up in St. Thomas and how that influenced who you became, which is Pressure BussPipe.
Well, I mean, from a very young age, I come up under my father's shadow.
Uh-huh.
Father is Orvin Brownlee, the late Orvin Brownlee.
Yes, sir. Rest in peace to the legend.
Yeah, so as a very young age, I always felt privileged to be amongst him and to be amongst other greats, and not knowing where that would take me, because as a boy, we want to play sports, we want to do this and do, and
Yeah.
just my father had that glow about him that as a musician that I always used to want to go with him. I wanted to learn what he doing. I wanted to be just like him, basically.
Right.
But of course, growing up in the ghetto, it was it was
Yeah.
the reality of the situation is that I have to be a cut above the rest. I have to really be, focus on what it is I need to accomplish. So, as a youth, you get yourself into trouble, but at that time in life now, everybody know everybody,
Yeah. Especially in that 32 square miles, right? You really can't go too far without knowing Brownie's son.
especially in my community. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody know who I was, so I couldn't,
Right.
I would get schooled before my mother even find out what going.
Right. So it takes a village, and the village going to deal with you first.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's a good segue, not to cut you off, but just as influential as your dad was, I know your mom was just as influential.
Yeah, man. She was very, very influential, because when my father was out on the road being his self, and doing everything for the community, my mother is who was instilling all those morals into me, and me and her went through it. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and her really went through all of it, and she built me to be the man that I is really, you know.
Mm,
And my father played his part by giving me the vision and providing for me in a way that, you know, that I would be able to provide for myself in years.
mm,
I mean,
yeah,
so much that he taught me as a father should pass on the knowledge that they have onto their youth.
yeah.
So I always just take everything into in with stride, you know.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And of course, your father being that big of a deal, your mom being that influential, I know, you were doing your best to just navigate. Now, how early did you really now of course your dad was a musician, so how I remember talking to you one time, you were telling me like Pressure the artist wasn't something that you envisioned. You actually wanted to be a drummer.
Yeah, yeah,
Or you not actually wanted to be, you were a drummer, but you wanted to be a professional drummer on that level.
yeah, man. Because my father was a drummer, and drum
Hmm.
was the ultimate thing. Like if you use the drummer and use the one that making a rhythm and making everybody in
Move and groove.
dance and thing, like
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be that person,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
it was just that for me, and I reggae music was a thing that I love, and I always would be listening to it in my bedroom, and you know, and when I go out into the ghetto and thing is like, you know, everybody playing reggae music, and you know, of course the jam band, and you know.
Yeah.
But for me, I was more leaning on the reggae. That was more interesting to me. Like, yeah, I like this culture,
Okay.
different.
And I didn't even think about that. I never even really think about how did you even like out of all the stuff, because from the Virgin Islands, calypso is the big thing, the Quell Bay and that type of music.
Yeah,
So for you to really, of course, if you playing drums, then there is way more of those type of bands than there are reggae bands back home. So you are more internalizing that type of music.
yeah,
But I never even thought to myself, how did Pressure even get? How did he even choose this lane? So that was even interesting for you to just say.
yeah, man. You know, in the ghettos at that time too, it was a lot of reggae music playing, a lot of Rastaman. You know, in the
Mm-hmm.
no, it was just a place where had so much vibes.
Mm.
And of course, it was either reggae music or you're listening to jam band. I
Right.
mean, so it was either or, and I had loved jam band, I had loved reggae music. I was just all for it, everything, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's just that I felt like calypso music at the time for me was like, okay, this is my culture. I already love it. This is me. I like that reggae culture. I want
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? I want to, and then you know, the music is good. It feels good to the soul. Like why
Yeah.
for me is like, you know, I mean, calypso music was doing something else for me,
Hmm.
but it wasn't doing what reggae music was doing for me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was a balance. Yeah,
Right. So that you were getting the soul music for you. What were really resonating with you was the
yeah,
reggae music, and you were really, you used the calypso as your culture, and you were submersed in that naturally. But the reggae music were really touching your soul, and you were resonating with that more.
because of the message, you know, and
Mm.
really into Black history and where we coming from and where we going as a people.
Right.
Me just in my own searching and thing, I felt closer to reggae music because it was a way for me, and I see a way for others to express themselves. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It was a music that yeah, people love it, you know, but yeah, but nobody don't really uphold the Rasta man. It's something
Yeah.
a man that you know how the Rasta man putting out all his good music and healing the world, but yet still the elders them fighting against Rasta man. Like what Rasta man doing so bad?
Wow.
Just the natty dread? Is it just the bongo dread? Them what twist
Yeah.
nice? Is it just what is it
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that is not? You know what I mean? So it was always interesting to me.
Wow, wow. So the dichotomy, or like, the ability to see through the fact that Rastaman kind of had this negative stigma to it,
Yes,
like, yeah, like even growing up,
but
like
in my
you would hear
community,
certain. Go
it
ahead.
wasn't like that. You know, in the
Mm,
Rasta man them, but the man them who we look up to.
Yeah, yeah, that had the message that was
You
really
know,
reasoning with the youth them.
a pot bubbling and
Yeah,
everybody could come and get a bowl out of the pot. Who it is bubbling the pot? The Rasta man.
the Rasta
You
man.
know,
Yeah.
and when you feed and you don't ain't have nothing to do with the money, you know. Just
Hmm.
you're feeding people, you know. You know what?
Yeah.
Who are you when you're feeding a nation of people and helping
Hmm.
them to live to see another day? You are of God. So I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. And I see it happening from the heart, from that
Mm.
is not backed by a congregation or a church, or they don't get no tidings or nothing like that. They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
bubble a pot and 20 people get a bowl and everybody irie.
Yeah. Feeding people literally and spiritually as well.
So what I was hearing about the Rasta man, I was seeing totally different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. 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 Wow. And that's such a contradiction in itself, but it's a beautiful contradiction because you literally you wanted to know what made it so bad, and you found out that it was so good for you.
Yes, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Respect. So I remember talking to you one time, and we were reasoning, and you had said your mom actually ended up sending you to the States, right? I think it was like your high school, a couple years of your high school years, because she wanted to kind of really get you out of the environment that had kind of taken a turn for the word the ghetto being the ghetto. She saw that the streets was trying to take her young son, and she wanted to get him out of there. Talk a little bit about how moving to the States during that time. I think you even said that uncle was like one of the strictest people you ever know.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah, take that, you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
in high school, it was Charlotte Amali. I was in the 11th grade, and you know, I was just getting myself into too much things, man, at that young age. You know, adolescence kicking, and you know, and where I come from is like, we ain't taking no talk,
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just every week it was always something with me and somebody, and getting into jumping into fights that nobody in trouble me, but I see my brethren in a fight, and I always ending up in a fight
Right,
because somebody do my brethren something, and because I is the one that everybody know, I have
right.
people in the office. I the man them who really start the fight gone home,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you in the office with
Yeah,
it.
I in the office every time with the principal.
Yeah,
So to be honest with you, I've been suspended many, many times from high school. You know,
yeah. Wow.
many times, and I've been saved many times because of my mother and my father, and they would practically beg for me, and because of who they is, there was some mercy,
Yeah.
and and to the point of even threatening to expel me from school.
Wow.
Point upon my mother was like, listen, you got to leave this island. Like, where you going, I can't afford for you to go down that road. That you have to leave this island, and you have to change, you have to do something with yourself, and I take that same mentality that I leave with in St. Thomas, straight to Valdosta, Georgia, to
Hmm.
buy my uncle.
Yeah.
Now this is an uncle that is my favorite uncle in the whole wide world.
Yeah. Crazy.
And from a little youth, my uncle, I look up to my uncle because he was one of the most talked about basketball players in St. Thomas.
Okay.
Played for half a season with Atlanta Hawks
Okay.
way back in the days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's somebody that I really look up to. So when he would come to the visit St. Thomas when we were youth, he always used to bring stuff for us. So as a youth, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah. That's like you don't attach yourself to that because that's my favorite
favorite
uncle. He
uncle.
bringing things for me. Yeah.
So my mother gave me the idea. So my idea of my uncle is always the pleasant vibe
Yeah. Yeah. The
when he
nice
visit, and
giving get.
always full of
Yeah.
love, and he glad to see us, and he taking us with him to the beach, and you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
lovely vibe. You know what I mean? So my idea when my mother say like, listen, you want to go live with your uncle and go school up there? I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Nah, my mother was like, yes, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
At the same That
Yeah.
year I leave with in high school. I went up there to Valdosta High School with it, up to Valdosta where my uncle them with it. And my uncle them cut me short with it one time. One time. You know what I mean? He laid down the rules to me and lead me to know, like, listen, you know, that what you doing in St. Thomas, that smoking weed and all of that, that they gonna cut out now.
Now.
You understand?
Yeah.
I violate, you check?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, I went out with some friends during high school in Valdosta because I try and prove to them, you know, I was the only man in the school who is from the Caribbean, so I
Yeah. So it come with a level of clout.
popular already in the school.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I tell them about Rastafari and music and all kind of thing, and they really know too much about these things, you know.
Yeah. But they hearing that accent and that's
So
all
then
they
when
cool
they
with that.
asking me about if we just smoke a lot of ganja and things, so
Yeah. Yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah, you know, yeah, how you mean? Yeah,
How you mean?
me and friends leave after high school, go do our thing, and you know, my uncle come pick me up and smell it on me, and it was a problem. But you know, so from then he take me out of all the musical activities. I would just bag up basically ground.
Yeah.
Couldn't go to music class because he gave me that allowance. When I first went to I was in a band class, you know, because I was already in band in St. Thomas, Charlotte.
Yeah.
So he
Marching band and
thing, you
so
know,
yeah.
I was in band music. You know, the teacher had done like me because like I already had skills.
And not to cut you off, but for the people listening, Charlotte and Mali, I tell people all the time when I moved to St. Thomas and went to UVI and stuff, and we were going around to the different high school. You recognize that the Charlotte and Mali High School has one of the best, if not the best, music program in the Virgin Islands, maybe the Caribbean. You recognize that they're teaching these kids at a very early age, you know, the high level of music theory and stuff, and these kids coming out of high school and really when we was in college people come in, literally, they still in school at Charlotte and Mali and coming and meeting us in jazz band that night, and them I'm playing at our level, if not higher.
Yeah.
So, like that level. So, when you went to Valdosta, you really were already on a level because Charlotte and Mali is one of the best. But go ahead, not to cut you
Yeah,
off.
man. So
Yeah.
he take me out of all the musical activities, and I basically couldn't do nothing. It was just academics,
Crazy.
straight academics. And I talked to him about like it done like on
Yeah.
7 months. I still can't even the grades starting to come back up. And
Yeah.
my grades start to come back up. I really didn't want to be in band anymore. By that time was writing lyrics. I was
Okay.
like, yo, okay, you could take the trumpet from me, the drumsticks, you could do all of that. You can't take my voice from me. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I write lyrics, you know, and I would share my lyrics with my uncle and he would like it. He would like my thing. He tell me keep doing my thing. You know what I mean? Still, I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't all bad. You know what I mean?
Right. Positive reinforcement in the
Like,
tough
you know,
love.
now that I is a big man, of course, I could see where that at that time I needed that discipline.
Right.
You know,
That discipline and that
needed that
structure. Right.
discipline and that family structure. I mean, my mother could have done it for me. My father could have done it for me. But, you know, I mean, I was unruly to the point that I needed somebody else to talk to me. You know,
Yeah.
I really needed to get off the island because my mother is like, she couldn't beat me no more. It was
Right.
beyond just beating me now. You know what I mean? Getting too
Yeah.
old to be getting beat. You check what I'm saying? So, so yeah, just
Yeah.
start to do my thing. And one time I had this little rap contest in not rap contest, but you know, like lunch,
Like a talent show.
little rap battle going on in
Yeah.
lunchtime. You know, during high school in Valdosta, and you know, I
Okay.
jump in the little rap battle and I sing a Sean Paul. You know,
Yeah. Turn up
nobody
the
don't
thing.
know this. Nobody don't know Sean Paul because they don't listen to reggae music at the they listening to like Pastor Troy and
Yeah.
Silk the Shaka and Marty and you know what I mean? That's what really bumping at the time, you know what I mean? And I sing a Sean Paul and they went crazy. Right? Absolutely went crazy, like yo. So now everybody starting to gather around to hear me sing and do my because ain't nobody in the whole high school song like me. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, they never came in touch with somebody with an accent. That's
Wow.
how popular I was. So I would be all over. People would be like, "Talk for me, say something for me, say something."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some say something in
I
your accent. Yeah.
class always reading. You know what I mean? Like they had me like and in front. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, but so now I feel like I have challenge, man. These people here, they like me. They thinking that song was mine. Why, guys?
Yeah.
Writing song, man.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
own thing because I can't let them down. I can't let my friends them down who I go in school with. So I used to go home and start writing my lyrics, and them man would be inviting me to their little studio, them man get a little mixing board in their bedroom and thing down in the hood, and I'll be asking my uncle like, yo, you know, I want to go down and do some little recording, and my uncle be like, nope, not done. Not, hey, you
Yeah.
start going down there, you're gonna start smoking. No,
Right.
me dropping you down there to go do no work. Well, he was really strict,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
did free up one time. One time, he allow me to. He dropped me off and he tell me he gonna be back for me in 1 hour, and he better be
Sick it
ready when he come.
when he come back.
You understand? I
Yeah,
had a CD. I communicate with and hand he that. You know what I mean? And
yeah. Evidence of the
yeah,
works.
my first song I had on record, I put it in his thing, and we went drive home and play it, and he was like, "It sound good. It sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sound good. Just
Sound good. Yeah,
doing
yeah.
It ain't song bad, Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That type
Yeah,
of
but
thing.
then it just come a time with like, before even graduation in Valdosta, it was like in December, Christmas time. I just begged my mother to bring me back home.
Hmm.
Mommy, I ready. I change.
Yeah, yeah. As a
Is
new
a
man.
different. No, no,
Yeah, yeah.
boy, holding
Yeah.
it in, and she like, yeah, she could have tell, what I mean, and she just bring me back home to finish to graduate from Charlotte Amali. So,
Sick.
so the last half of 12th grade, I spent in Charlotte Amali. And when I came back home to the Virgin, when I come back, I link up with Rafi Jasiano. Rafi. He was still in
Okay.
high school too, and me and Rafi start doing some talent shows together. We do like Star Fest, you know. We be
Mm-hmm.
chanting in high school, doing our little thing in the school, and you know what I mean. One time Rafi is like, "Listen, we need to go Idora Ken, man. We need to go out there and see. We hearing to get some bad chanters out there in Idora Ken, man."
Yeah.
And me and Rafi gone out there one day, like after school, and then I had a chant out over there in Idora Ken, and we went and bust up the place in Idora Ken, and next we link up with some of them chanters out there, and next thing you know, we start getting them man to come tongue, Charlotte
Yeah.
Amali and doing a thing down there, and then we all start linking up because it was never like we warring against them or nothing. You understand?
Right,
Like
right, right.
love. Then we
Yeah.
end up linking so much. You know what I mean? We end up form a group called Star Lion Family. You know?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. This is going back now.
Yeah,
Okay. I even know that's how it
yeah.
started. That's crazy.
So yeah, we start from right before graduation. Star Lion
Hmm.
Family was formed. Couple of the members them had graduate a year before me, like
Okay.
Nayora and Icarus and so. But
Mm-hmm.
me and Rafi and Kimby and Jagan, Cyrus, all of us was still in school. Yeah.
Nice.
And formed that
Nice.
group. Then now we our first show we opened up for was Sizzler.
Okay.
Sizzler, I think that was in the year 2000. We opened up for Sizzler, and from there we start to get a lot of recognition on the island. Like people were talking about this Star Lion family throughout the island. Everybody was like, we were just the talk. So now every show are coming to the VI as far as St. Thomas. You know, like we will be the opening act.
Opening act for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And then one time we get a chance to go to St. Croix for the island for the at Island Center for the
Mm-hmm.
Saji, I think Saji, they might keep at a local show, local fest or whatever. And
Yeah.
that they were big, and we get to expose ourselves in St. Croix too, and that really had light a fire,
Yeah. Now the big island know now what
Yeah,
going on
man.
in Rock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
Sick.
then when we went to St. Croix, that's when I first meet with Dean Pan.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
When Star Lion family had went over there, and Dean had expressed to me that he really loved the group, he loved Star Lion family, and he loved the way I sound, and he would really like to do some work with me, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
of course I working with the family, so I was like, okay, well, okay, we gonna link, really
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Dean work. I really want to do work with Dean at the time, but as I was kind of uncertain as to like, should I do something by myself?
Right. Right. Of course, you with the group, you didn't want to be like the
Yeah,
Beyonce. You were
I was
scared of.
kind of
Yeah.
like, man,
Yeah.
it's a whole group I wait. I don't want to just do, I was kind of
Yeah.
unsure about it, but I was leaving Dean, like, yeah, we're gonna keep connect, man. Don't worry about it, but just give me some time to figure that out.
Right.
And it just one day it hit me like, like, no man, this is I gotta go fulfill this, man. I get too much fire in me to really wait and six other man to get their thing together like this. Like,
Yeah.
it all just hit me one day, like, yo, six of us, seven of us, as artists, none of us ain't playing no instruments. Like, who is going to
Yeah.
book us to, you got us, and then
Yeah.
we want to have a band. Like, that's too much going on. Like, yeah, a group we is gonna always be brothers, but right now I got to make a decision for myself and for my future.
And that's tough in itself because it's hard when you have to make that decision because you can be looked at as selfish, you could be looked at as like you're looking out for your own interest, but we all have to know that and our journeys are different. You know what I'm saying? You came up with Starlight and that was what got you on the map. You know what I'm saying? You're grateful for that, but you couldn't. Jah had bigger plans and you had to make sure that you fulfill
Yeah,
your
man.
road.
And but the
Yeah.
good part about it, which Jah was working in all of our favor, is that I did hold a meeting to talk about it, and everybody
Hmm.
was willing to go on their own and do their thing. It's like everybody was feeling that kind of way and decided and just feel like, wow, my son pressure. Like, I glad you mentioned that, man. I've been feeling a way
Yeah.
too, and you know what I mean. I didn't want to really mash nobody toes, and really it's a
Right.
breath of fresh air for me to know,
Yeah.
like, I would have had the support, and I get the support from everybody, and I give them my support in whatever they get going on. Of course, you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Ayora, he went and started doing his solo work. I just
Hmm.
started doing his solo work. Icarus, rest in peace to Cyrus, he was doing his solo work. Jargon start doing his thing. Everybody just start to forward. But of
Yeah.
I just started to really like make sacrifices. Not saying that the others ain't do what they had to do, but
Right. But you could speak
yeah,
for
I
yourself.
know the sacrifices that I had to make to really push forward.
Now, that's a great segue. Not to cut you off. Let's segue right there because that's one of my questions, and it really, literally, I had next to it sacrifice and humility. So there was a post that you posted maybe a couple months ago, as it applied to working in a deli in St. John, where you had to make a sacrifice just to do what you had to do so that you could afford to do what you wanted to do, which was the music eventually. Talk a little bit about that story for those who didn't know, and explain, and that I think that would be a great segue to one of the things you had to sacrifice and had to do to make it as Pressure the Artist.
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, you have to be real with your situation.
Mm.
And for me, I had the support of my mother. You know, my mother was my
Yeah.
biggest support system when I really needed that financial support, especially to push forward and do music. You know, I didn't. My mother wasn't rich, you know, but my mother had believed in me, and that's all I needed, you know.
Yeah. That's worth more than
She
any
had
dollar.
believed in me. She felt like, listen, I know you have what it takes to go out there and make a name for yourself. You know what I mean? So in return, she wouldn't she wouldn't be like, oh, you need to go and get a job. No, you need to, you know what I mean? She would be like, when you're
Yeah.
going in the studio, where's the next song? When is it coming out with the next song? This is the encouragement. She'd be like, she always want to hear what I have coming with next. And she just a part of my life and always been a part of my life and helping me to grow to be an artist too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In when I first left with Starlion Family, I started to work with Dean Pan. Me and Dean Pan, we released my first album, The Pressure Is On.
Pressure
Yeah,
is
The
on.
Pressure
Yep.
Is On. Um, got a lot of great reviews throughout the internet and stuff. I was, you know what I mean? A lot of people was loving the music, really into the music and stuff like that. I was getting shows
Yeah.
throughout the VI, of course, but I was getting shows like I would come to Atlanta, I would have a show in New York, but they were little opening acts, but they had mean so much to me because I
Of
know
course.
where I was coming from.
Coming from.
There
Yep. That's
wasn't
right.
no money involved, but I had a crowd in front of me to impress. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
all I needed. I needed a shot to just get me in front of some people. You know what I mean? And let me do my thing.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
yeah, so during that time it was financially rough for me, so I had to go and look at job. I trying to do the music, but I need to go and I need to work. I just had my son. Now it's 2003. Just
Tree. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um I work. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
touch in every place and it ain't got no work for me, and the kind of jobs were available, I don't really want to work for them. And then next year, no, I had to suck salt and end up going to work in a supermarket.
Yeah.
And then I start out as a cashier. Mine, is pressure,
Yeah. Done pressure already. Done for the album. You know what I'm saying? You done thing taking off, but you're still local in your local neighborhood
I still
supermarket.
as like everybody seeing me and it's like, yo, you ain't pressure no man. We like your music, man. That song you get no limitation. Zion is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I no
Yeah.
me no cashier. No, I was bargain. I started
Okay.
bargain.
Wow.
Only
Wow.
job available. The manager tell me, she said, just start out there. In a month, we'll move you to someplace else. But that's all we have for now. Just get your door
Right.
and come and work, right? So start off bargain. Next thing you know, I was cashier. I went from
Hmm.
bargain to being a cashier. Yeah,
Moving on
and
up.
then being a cashier to moving in a back by the deli. And the reason why I went in a deli, right, is because all the rest of them were in a deli. Them in the deli. And
Yeah.
them man was serving whatever you check, making sandwich, serving the food, cutting the cold cuts, them whatever it is that, like, we ain't
Yeah.
eating none of these things, but this is God do this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You gotta touch the
I
meat.
up
Yeah.
here by the cashier, there ain't no fun up here, man. I want to go back. So I asked the manager to put me in the back, man. Like after he put me in the
Yeah.
back, and that's where I was, but I would be in the back singing. People will be coming in trying to, they buying food, and I just in the back singing music, serving food to people. So people delighted by that. You know what I mean? I always would
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
yo, pressure, you sound good. Yeah, I like how we sound. And I would always get compliments singing. And me doing it like I look in no compliment.
Right. Right. You just doing it from
You
the
know,
heart, and that's how we passing the
energy and
time. Yeah.
fire in me right now. Let me just sing my song them. And my brethren them in the Delhi, we
Mhm.
like them and like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're
And
entertaining them. They're your live crowd.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then a time had come, and another job was presented to me, opportunity was presented to me to go and work for Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, which was step up again in a
Yeah. For
market,
sure.
to be to sitting at a desk now and having a badge and having a vehicle and going out on the field and going to inspect stores and gas stations. You know what I mean? That was a step up for me. So, I went and I started to do that, and it was great, at that time. Now, I'm more able to take care of my family, my woman,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean, and help out with my mother wherever I could, you know. And so I
Right.
was more in a comfortable spot right there. It's like everything was just going good for me, you know.
Yeah.
The music,
So you.
everything was going good as is, but in my mind, life isn't the way I want it to be right now. I mean,
Right. Because you
I
want to be
want
the
to do
artist.
music. Like, can't be my
Yeah.
life. I can't be. This ain't where probably gonna be for the next 30 years, to then say I retired from the government being a licensing and consumer officer. This is not gonna be my life, you know.
Right. Right.
And opportunity arise for me to just leave the island and just try something new, you know. It was like
Mm.
a leap of faith. I talked to my mother about it. I talked to everybody about it basically, because I was leaving is something that I really wanted to do, just leave the island and try something else. I can remember
Yeah.
is like everybody, it was like bittersweet, you know what I mean? Because you know how it is, like when you have big dreams, but everybody that think like your dreams too big.
Too big, intimidating for them, so they can't believe. So it's almost like you on the island by
You know what I
yourself with
mean?
this
It's like
idea.
telling them like,
Yeah.
listen, nah, I try and be the biggest thing come out of the Virgin Islands, and I try. This is my
Yeah.
mentality, like, nah, I going go out there, and I going do what I have to do, and I going make the VI proud. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
everybody will be like, yeah, my boy, but you got a good job though. You get better. The man,
Yeah.
a job where you have, what
Yeah.
people want, a job where you have, my boy. The
Mm-hmm.
man, you safe, you ain't get nothing. The man, you have your own vehicle, government vehicle. You could do what you. The man, you good. The man, and used to be.
Yeah.
And my mother would just be like, "Well, if that's what you want to do, then go do it. But
Yeah.
do it. I want
Right.
that.
Go hard.
I don't want to see you doing nothing else but that. Don't want to hear that
Yeah.
you getting yourself in no problems. You this and you
Yeah.
that, and you ain't doing music. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
really, if little did my mother know that I definitely was going to do this music. Like, ain't nothing was going
Yeah.
to stop me from doing this music. And so I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia for like 3 months. This is in the year 2005.
Okay.
2005.
So pressure. I mean, love and affection ain't even blow up yet. I think
It
that's what
make it.
07, right? Okay, like, you ain't met yet. Yeah, that's still. So you still in the
Yeah,
early
man. Yeah,
stages
man.
of BussPipe.
Section A make it.
Okay.
And so I
Wow.
moved to Atlanta for like 4 to 6 months, and then had
Mm-hmm.
moved back down to Valdosta, Georgia, to stay with my sister, because my sister had then moved up there to go to college, and she had her
Okay.
own place in Valdosta, and I was more comfortable there. So I just went down and stayed with my sister, and again, my sister is another driving force behind me too. She was a support for me, even though she would be like, yo, I think you need to go look at job now.
Right. Just because, yeah.
But she
Yeah.
still would
Yeah.
encourage me to do music, and she never
Yeah.
leave me fall flat. She always was there with me, there
Yeah.
for me through everything, just like my mother. In them trying times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would just keep doing my thing in Valdosta at the time now. I got a little studio down there, and I work and do my things I could do. I'll make my little trips back and forth from Valdosta to Atlanta, back and forth.
Right.
Then next thing you know what I mean, things starting to get rough. You know what I mean? Now I want to go sell herb and
Right.
make a little connection in Atlanta and try to see if I could get some herb down to Valdosta. So now I gone to Atlanta. You know what I mean? Grab what it is I could have grabbed on my way back to Valdosta, get pulled over from the police. You know what I mean? Police
Crazy.
find pounds of weed in the car with me, and you know, I end up I spend a weekend, spend about a Thursday to a Monday in prison for the first 2 days, 3 days. Nobody didn't know where I was. And it
Yeah.
was kind of like, it was like, nah, my life over. I mean, no, my life
Yeah.
over. Everything, mother, everybody
Yeah.
tell me not to do, I just do, and it happened to me. You know,
Right.
like my
Right.
whole wall was just like messed right up. You know what I mean? And it's like I would beat up on myself, like how I could do that. You know, because I wilding, you know what I mean? I got
Yeah. 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 And you feel like you're laying down the people who
in at
believe in
a
you the
young,
most.
you know what I mean? Wilding
Yeah.
like how I was in St. Thomas, you know what I mean? Just got known, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, how we don't move in St. Thomas, it probably even better up here, man. No man, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So I didn't even know that story there. So your whole journey to becoming, to becoming who you became and who you are now is a lot of twists and turns. And that's what I be trying to explain to the youth. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's journeys look different. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own um, plan, set out for us, but it's really on us to really find, it within ourselves and to put fear aside. Because I know a lot of what I'm listening to, even you believed, and I think that's a very important part to it. You believed in yourself that much that okay, no matter even if your friends and them didn't really see the vision, you saw your vision and you stuck to the plan. And even if you had these bumps in the road and whatnot, you always gonna have bumps in the road. But the fact that you had this vision and you stuck with it and you became who you became, is a testament to you. First of all, your support group, because you've said your mother so many times, you said your sister, you said your dad. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these people in your life was there for a reason and really helped and shaped, Delano, overall, who then became Pressure, you know what I'm saying? And Pressure never changed who Delano was. And that's a beautiful thing because you had
Yeah,
that great foundation. Let's talk about let's say this whole time you evolving into BussPipe, and then let's say now when would you say that you really became when was that moment where okay, I really doing this thing, your first real check mark in your own personal checklist of becoming BussPipe? When would you say that was?
well, that was in 2005 after
Okay.
getting into that incident. Um,
Okay.
I just get a call out of the blue from Dean Pan. He just
Mm-hmm.
gave the CD, gave my album to Dan Carlian, and Dan Carlian love it, and he wants to reach out to you and work with you and stuff like that. So at that moment, it was done already exciting moment, but wasn't that excited
Yeah.
and like the when he actually called me, you know what I mean? It was like, yo, this
Yeah.
is Dan, like Dan Carly, and you mean like the real Dan Carly
Real Dan Calio. Yeah.
seasons,
Yeah. Yeah.
the pan the river, pan the bank. This is producer Dan Carly,
Yep.
and I mean he just laugh,
Yeah.
and at that moment there, I know it was going to be something special. So he said he wanted to work with me. He sent me some rhythms. Love and Affection was the first song that I recorded for that. That was
Wow. The first song, dog, you hit a home run out. You hit a
the
home run at your
first
first
song
at bat. That's crazy.
recorded, period, released,
Wow.
and it was history ever since.
Wow. And it was and Love and Affection blew in
Yeah,
like
Love and
'07.
Affection blew like '07 is the official year that it really take off. It really '06.
Okay.
But '07, I
Okay.
think, is when the song really blossomed and became what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I just went
Wow.
from, you could imagine, my whole life just drastically changed. Like
Wow.
within weeks, you know what I mean? And from between when the
Yeah.
song released and to when my first show, which was in Freeport, Bahamas, like it no,
Okay.
it was a testament. Like, wow, I can't believe that people actually going crazy for me right now. But last month they didn't know who I was. I was a struggling artist.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's just life, and you just gotta keep being persistent, and and
Yeah. And go after that goal with vengeance, man. Sheesh, that's crazy. I didn't even, man. It's crazy how long I know you now, but like still like knowing the whole story is amazing in itself. Um, what are some of the challenges as a songwriter, as an artist that you face? We have a lot of people of all type of backgrounds and coming up in the game. A lot of people see the glitz and the glamour of being an artist. The being on the road, the shows, the adulation. But at the same time, there has to be the downside. What are some of the challenges you would say that you face as an artist that you have to really fight through?
um there are many challenges, you know what I mean, and there are many advantages as well. But you ask about
Okay,
the
clear.
challenges, you know, in these are per this in these times are the perfect challenges, you know what I mean? Being able to get
Mm.
out there
Mm.
and perform for the people and entertain and make a living. This is survive,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
times like these are very challenging for artists. Um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, at the same time, inspiration, coming up with songs that you feel like will really connect with the people is a challenge, as
Yeah,
artists, and then when you're
yeah,
comfortable and you find that zen, you just stick with it and beat them over the head with it, work every time,
yeah,
you
yeah,
understand?
yeah.
Yeah, but to be
Right.
refreshing and to be versatile, and always wanting to bring something different to the table, it requires a
Yeah.
lot of meditation. It's a challenge.
And that's crazy you say that because that's a great segue as well. May is known as Mental Health Awareness Month, and all this month, even with the different interviews I'm doing, I always want to make sure that somehow we are really including, talking about mental health because it's something that we really, in the Black community, we getting better with it now with time, but it's something that we really kind of looked upon. You just look at a crazy man, a Carly crazy, or oh, anxiety, you could deal with that, you know what I'm saying? Or get yourself together and all this kind of stuff, instead of having, you know, um, concrete and progressive conversation about it. And you just said, just keeping it all together and basically finding inspiration and keeping, finding zen so that you can do the work. So what are some ways that you keep your mental headspace clear and clean so that you can, produce as an artist and stay creative?
Man, I just try to mind my own business.
Hey, that's a big
I
number one.
mind
That's
my
a
own
big number
business
one.
and the other people way,
Yeah,
and just don't get in my way to this music.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, man. But honestly, it's like it could be anything. You know what I mean? Like I just just want to just be free and
yeah,
just want to keep negative energy away, and just keep people who have the same mindset around, people who want to win, winning attitude you want
yeah,
around, you know what I mean? And people who are always
yeah,
salty and sour and, never joyful when you joyful, you know, watch them, and you don't want them
yeah.
energy around. You want people to, and you don't, that don't mean you want yes man around you. That's, what I
Right,
mean,
right.
having a yes man around you and having people that always never jive is two different things. I mean, cause we don't like yes
Yeah,
man. We want no yes man neither. I mean, but It's a
Yeah.
joy to know that everybody around hold the same head, you know. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So keeping that space around you, keeping that energy around you, the people around you, keeping that kind of energy clean
yes.
out at all times. Yeah, yeah. For us, in Rastafarianism and all of that, we know that the cannabis is a big part. It's the healing. We partake in it to clear the mind, to elevate, to what I'm saying, to be introspective. People use it for different reasons as a medicine. Um, Legalization is something that you've been pushing for a long time. What are I'm gonna ask this question twofold because I want to make sure the people get two sides of it. In the positive light, how do you see, just going back to the Virgin Islands where we from? How do you see the legalization of cannabis benefiting the Virgin Islands? And talk about recreational maybe versus medicinal. How you feel like it could affect the Virgin Islands in
Um,
that kind of way?
I think it will affect only in positive ways. I see no negative coming from this marijuana industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None whatsoever. The only thing negative can come out of it is envy and greed. You know what I mean? But as far
Right.
as
Right.
healing, as far as elevating the place economically, stimulating the economy and all these things, the marijuana is the perfect solution. I mean, and it's a
Hmm.
healing product that could be used for many different.
Many,
If you're
many, in a
against
plethora of ways.
smoking,
Yeah.
I am with you on that. You know what I mean? I could
Yeah,
understand
I
that.
can
I
understand. I see.
Some people
Hmm.
believe that smoking is just not good. Oh,
Right. Just
yeah,
general
there are people
smoking, no matter what you smoking,
that
putting smoke in your lungs
but
is bad.
the reason marijuana smoke is healing and not just any other smoke is that in order for marijuana to heal glaucoma, which is a sickness of the, you have to
Of the
smoke the
eye.
marijuana so that your eyes can get red and it will heal the
Right.
marijuana. So these things and the ganja smoke is something that reverse certain sicknesses, you know. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
But you can't just depend on the marijuana alone. You have to use other herbs as well.
Right.
But you can use
Right.
the marijuana herb for many different things. You just have to break down the herb. Some people may use it in a butter farm. Some people, you know what I mean, they
Right. Make a tea
to
with
be
it. Yeah.
intaking. You know, I feel like
Hmm.
it is good on top of good on top of good that marijuana will bring to the place, you know. Even if the government want to tax it,
Yeah.
just give them the money, tax, go with the,
Yeah.
and just make we all
Yeah.
just live happy and smoke marijuana and everybody can be, you know, can be healed. And who don't want it, me don't, I don't like smelling
You know.
cigarette, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
But that's preference, you know.
Yeah.
But I see no nutrition coming
Mm.
from cigarette, and I have never
Right.
seen anybody that would advocate for legalization of cigarette. You know, yeah,
Right.
like
Yeah.
there's nobody
Yeah.
chanting for the legalization of drugs. Nobody's doing
Right.
that because we know what it does to it. So why are we chanting for legalization? Why is the world holding hands and saying there is something about this plant? You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
that means, you know, we
Yeah.
have to just go with it because Jah make it, you know. I know me make it, you know. Jah
Yeah.
make plant. Every plant
Yeah.
is has a purpose, you know. As,
Yeah. Yeah, and the whole thing is about how you use it. At the end of the day, anything could be abused, right? You could drink too much water at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's about temperance and it's about making sure that you're using it to better yourself in whatever way. And at the end of the day, everything ain't for everybody. There's some people who have addictive personalities. I might be able to
that
eat some sugar today, some
ex-
candy in a small increment,
if it
and somebody else might eat it
that doesn't
a
mean you
bunch of
must
it and get
fight
diabetes.
against it, you know.
Right. Right.
We
That's an
people have a
individual problem.
problem by fighting against things that we don't have no knowledge of. We have no knowledge of a lot of things, but because they are unknown to us,
Yeah.
and
We just fight it.
those are the things that baffle my mind too, and where my mind is more time. Because listen to this: we say we love God, but we never see God face, and we just see our brethren them every day and don't love and respect them and give them the thing and the honor they deserve, and we love somebody that we never see.
Wow. Never see. And the same God telling us to love our neighbor and love our brother like we love ourselves. So the thing is, for people to like, preach at that level, look, I love God and not even love their fellow man, ain't godly in itself. You know what I'm saying? So and Jah looking at that like that ain't right. So it's levels. You have to make sure that you ain't just going for the home run, the singles, the doubles, the triples, they count as well. And when I say that, I mean in life, the thing that seems small and not as important or as big of a deal is the things that we really should care about. You know what I'm saying? So nah, that's you. Well, that would be a whole be a whole other podcast on that. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. We're so glad once again that we had Pressure BussPipe on the show today, man. The Flying Intellectual Podcast is an honor and a privilege. Plug whatever you have going on, big bro. The newest album,
Yes,
Rebel with a Cause, is doing pretty well.
definitely. Rebel
Talk
with
to
a
us about that.
Cause is out on all musical platforms and digital right now. It's really bubbling. It's been picking up all over the world, Africa, Europe. Everybody has been talking about songs from the album. We just released the latest video, King Selassie First. Check that out on YouTube.
Yes,
And I'm getting ready to release another album. One gonna be mad.
Okay.
This one gonna be
Okay.
mad.
Okay.
Produced
Hearing
by
it here first.
Legend, Masai. It's going to be
Yes,
crazy, crazy, crazy. Remember, I tell you.
Remember, you're hearing it here first on the Flying Intellectual Podcast. The big boss, Pressure BussPipe. Thank you so much, big bro, for stopping in, man. Hopefully the youth got something, a gem, and really and truly the whole thing that I heard today was never give up. No matter who don't believe or whatnot, make sure you stick to it. Don't let the little bumps in the road take you off your journey. You know what I'm saying? Believe in Jah and believe in yourself,
Facts.
and the rest
Big
will take care of itself.
brother.
Yeah, big up, bro. Much love, man. Until next time. Yes, I bless. Yo, man. Thanks for tuning into my podcast. Please don't forget to review, rate, and share. That would help me out a lot, and it helps get the platform bigger and better. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at FlyYoungIntellectual, at FlyYoungIntellectual. Hit me on Twitter at Mr. MISTER_FYI. Connect with me, man. 2020, we're doing bigger and better things. If you really like the platform, tell somebody about it, man. Until next time, peace.